Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs. Speaking of Specs, find your perfect pairings during Specs' huge wine sale going on all month long with savings on hundreds of wines. Love is in the aisles at Specs, and the fun starts here. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got the fan show guys with us. Got Caitlin with us. All right, Roy, favorite part of the show? Don't say Aaron Torres. I think you say Aaron Torres a lot.
No, I was actually going to say Logan Lee, the old man's basketball story.
That was a good story, wasn't it?
That was going to be mine.
Yeah.
That was going to be mine.
Yeah,
Because that really was it. He did make me laugh on that and made me remember like all my softball days. And then you get to the point where you don't care if you win or lose. You just don't want to get hurt. So
What was your favorite part?
the fan show.
Fan show?
Well, I think a lot of it also has to do with big matchup coming up on Saturday. Logan always brings a lot of good insight just to kind of talk about it and talk us off the ledge maybe a little bit from Mississippi State.
Well, Caitlin Torn, I know, is going to have the right answer here because I love your answers, but that's not the number one part of the show. Torniak?
I'm going to go Michael Earley.
Thank you. I mean, the head coach of the baseball team telling us they're playing in this frigid weather. What did you like about it?
I liked his mentality.
Yep.
Sounded like a baller.
And AT was on the show. He was good today.
Well, and Zane, way to remember who we played.
Yeah, that's right. Who did we play again? Cybertrucks? Elons? Yeah. So that's the rewind. Check it. It's coming. I don't think you're going to agree with this comment on the YouTube page.
Okay.
Maybe you will. Missouri did the league a favor last night in the SEC basketball standings. What do you think about that?
Well, they beat Alabama. I don't know if that's a favor or not. It's not.
It hurts A&M.
It hurts A&M because A&M's trying to get the double bye by finishing the top four.
Right.
And now I think, are they tied with Missouri now?
I believe they are.
They have the tiebreaker having beaten Missouri, but Missouri has a much less challenging remaining schedule than A&M does.
Yep.
A&M still playing Tennessee, a good Vanderbilt team. They got to go to Florida. They got Auburn.
They're both 9-4 in the conference.
Yeah, so they're tied.
Yep.
So A&M has a much more difficult row to hoe moving forward to get that double bye.
Does Alabama and Auburn play one more time?
Yes,
they do.
They play in the final game.
And Alabama would have the tiebreaker with A&M. I'm just talking out some scenarios. If A&M did not lose out or did not lose, well, if A&M doesn't lose another game, they would have the tiebreaker over Missouri. Yeah. So, but it did. I think it complicates things for A&M, but it does open up the league a little bit. They'll open up possibilities.
Yeah. Of course, Missouri was in the NCAA tournament anyway. What that did was, maybe if they were a 5 seed, maybe that's the kind of thing. If they finish strong, gets them a 4.
Yeah.
But they were already in.
I agree.
Yeah. So, if you don't like Alabama, I guess that it helped you. It made you feel good. I would have celebrated it because I don't like Alabama, except that it actually makes things a little more difficult for A&M.
Yep. A couple questions about the starting rotation this weekend. Do you anticipate it being the same and any different kind of approach with how long they're out there because of the weather conditions?
It'll be at least what it was. Yes, it'll be the same rotation. And, they are built up a little more, but we'll take all that into account. And part of it is like seeing how they feel. Once you get hot out there, you're good. It really just depends on the up, down, how long you have to sit, and those type of things. Their pitch count will be definitely what it was last weekend, but we'll kind of see how the game plays out. Because the weather is a thing, but winning you want to win, right? You want to win, you got to continue to build. So you don't want to take a step back just because of the weather. So it'll definitely be a balancing act of how long you're sitting there and those sort of deals. So it's just really, really fluid, to be honest with you.
Talking to Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live. Michael, I wanted to ask you about Blake Benderup, just local kid who had a great opening night, and just where his growth has been from your perspective.
He's immense. It's been awesome to watch him work since the day he got in here and coming in and making the switch, and his confidence he's a tough dude, man. It doesn't matter honestly to win or lose, but if I got in a brawl, I want Blake Benderup with me, and that's just how I feel about him as a player. And that doesn't help you win or lose, but when you're playing the way he's playing and how anticipating playing, and he's one of the toughest dudes on the field. It just brings a different type of element to your baseball team, and I just love that about him. And yeah, it's awesome. He's a local kid, but he's worked his tail off, and I'm just really proud of him. And I think the sky's the limit for him. I really do. I'm a big believer in him, and I like what he's doing right now. And he just needs to get more comfortable out there. And I think he's got another gear in there, but love what he's doing right now.
A&M basketball, Tennessee, huge game coming off a, I don't know if embarrassing loss is the right way. The score was not it was not a good performance from A&M, especially in the second half against Mississippi State. They got the toughest part of their schedule still ahead. You know, they have got to get, I think they got to get this Tennessee game, especially considering you've got Auburn and you've got Florida coming up over the next couple of weeks. Just your thoughts on the state of A&M basketball, considering how hot they were and then the step back they took against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, David, and I'm sorry if the point is getting kind of regurgitated. I just think in the SEC this year, you got to show up ready to play every night, and if you don't, just about anybody can beat you on any given night. I mean, look at Auburn last night. I mean, at home off of a dominant win of the number 2 team in the country, Arkansas is desperate. And Arkansas was a player, too, from winning that game. And so it's not an A&M thing, and it's also not to excuse the loss to Mississippi State. But I think to your point, you got to get back on track because, listen, I mean, it's a simple math equation at a certain point is that we all know historically the better seed you have, the more likely you are to advance once you get to the tournament. And so one thing I never want to do is speak for fans or pretend that I know the psyche of fans. But listen, the Aggies have made the tournament a couple times now. And last year they were able to advance to the first round. This is a team that really does have a chance to do damage, but you got to keep finding ways to win in the regular season. I know, like you said, with the schedule ahead, you're probably not going undefeated. That's okay. But we all saw kind of that bracket release last week. I mean, a 3 seed is in play, a 2 seed is in play, advantageous geography once the tournament starts as far as where you play your games is in play. And so you've done an incredible job to this point. You have an incredible resume. Now it's about finishing strong, like you said, because there are no off nights in this league, and I think the Mississippi State game proved it a couple days ago.
At times, it feels like Wade is not having the kind of year that we're used to, or at least the last 2 years, right? And the other times is, well, there's a couple reasons for that. A, they don't need him to. B, they have a post presence now that they can kind of take away from it. But I'm still waiting for, and look, I'm saying this about a guy who's about to be the all-time scorer in A&M history, right? So I'm not trying. He is still fantastic, but I feel like because he's been so good at times, we sometimes look at the stat line. This last game wasn't a great game, we know that, but we look at the stat line. Oh man, 14 points, not 16 or not 19 or not 22.
But if you look at it, yes, it's a different year for Wade. I think it's actually a better year for him because he has grown as a player. Mm-hmm. His first 3 seasons here, I argued with everybody. That's not a point guard. You had national TV announcers saying he's one of the best point guards in the country. No, he's one of the best scorers in the country, but he's not a point guard. I would argue this year he has become a point guard. He is distributing the ball. He is getting his teammates in place, hitting them with great passes. He's done a great job. Last season, I think he took almost 600 field goal attempts. This year, he's under 300 right now. Yeah. And that's because his game has changed. The players around him have changed. He doesn't have to do everything. So, yes, he has changed as a player, but I think he's grown and he's developed more.
But offensively, do you think a player like him excels as a volume player, right?
Oh, for sure. He's definitely a volume scorer. It's going to take him a lot of shots to get a lot of points. Now, I can't remember who they were playing. If he goes 7 of 10 from the 3-point line, obviously he's going to get a lot of points on not a ton of shots. But that hasn't happened a ton, really, in his whole career. That hasn't happened a ton. He's a 33% 3-point field goal.
Right. All right, Mr. Browning, tell the people what to do. In that Italian accent that you were doing earlier.
You want to like, you want to share, you want to subscribe, and you want to click the notification so you never miss another TexAgs Rewind.
You went from
that was terrible
Italian to Irish in the same 5 seconds.
Hey, I don't know.
This guy right Irish.
Hey. Yeah.
We'll see you next time.